Welcome back to the bench. This video, or this episode, I think will be episode 3. We're going to mainly concentrate on this little thing. So if I get my pointer and we start going through it, as you can see, I've started putting some filler on. By the looks of the sink mark there, going to need a bit more, and quite probably the same on that side. So we will do that, and we will have a sand on here and here just to sort this bit out. And I've now fixed on this part of the gun that kind of broke off. It's not too bad a repair. It is ever so slightly off, but I think by the time you put some camouflage netting around it, you'll be very difficult to see what's going on underneath, which is kind of the idea that I want to go for. So that's what I'm going to do. I will go quiet from time to time as I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, so bear with me and enjoy the video. So here we go. When I can find the right sander, we start doing some sanding. There we go, that'll do. The other thing that I'm trying to do on this particular video is I'm recording on the down cam, and I am also recording on my mobile as well. So kind of hoping to give you guys a bit of a dare I say, a multi-camera view. How this will come out when I do the editing, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Best intentions and all that. So we'll see how we get on. See what comes out or doesn't come out, depending on which way you want to look at it. Some of this will be voiceover, and some of it will be me actually talking as I'm doing this. So now, is it blowing everything away? Now this is hopefully going to be a part that's going to go on here. What this is actually going to do or represent, I've got no idea, but it's some kind of experimental piece of equipment, I think. So that will go on there. I will need to put some filler around it, so yeah, it's all going to be fun. Yeah, very interesting way of doing things with a camera right in front of you. But hopefully it'll be worth it, because it'll give you guys a different way of looking at things, I hope. Yeah, well, we all know what happens there, don't we? Yeah, it will either come off or it will fail badly. Now, as for the smoke dischargers that's on this one, I'm quite probably going to have something a little bit different, maybe a bit experimental. Most definitely scratch built. That's about as much as I can tell you at the moment, because excuse me, I'm not really sure what I want to do or how I'm going to do it. So we'll cross that bridge as and when we get to it. So we've got a nice old squeak going, which kind of means that we're getting close to something good. Oh, squeaky squeak. Not quite on the top. It's not a million miles away. going there. Oh. Right, I think. Now the other thing I am thinking of is I am going to make a basket that's going to fit on here. What goes in the basket? I've no idea, and I'm not even sure if the bits that are on turret number 1 are going to go on here, because this is going to be a experimental turret, so things have changed around a little bit. So I don't quite know what I'm going to put on there at the moment. I'll have to see how the wind blows, but definitely there's going to be a basket on here. But I learnt a lesson on the other one is if you're going to put a basket on and you're going to make it from very thin copper wire, do it as one of your last jobs, because I did that one way too early and went to pick it up and crushed the basket because I wasn't concentrating on what I was doing, nor was I actually looking at what I was doing, so therefore the basket got crushed. And I think I've got away with it to the point where I've got some jerry cans in it, and it does look a little bit like it's seen better days. But yeah, definitely I think the basket that goes on here will be the last thing that goes on. If you're wondering what's happened to the Northern Ireland build, it's still ongoing. It's just I haven't fully worked out in my own mind how I'm going to create the various paint colours and other items, shall we say, that have been hoid at the patrol vehicle as it's gone past a group of very unhappy people. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do it, so I've kind of put that on the back burner. I haven't forgotten about it. I'm still tying over. I think I'm probably going to go down the road of some very thin down oil paints, mainly because then that gives me plenty of time to make any adjustments after I've somehow thrown it on the vehicle. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do with that at the moment. So it's got to that point where I don't want to rush into it, because I don't want to cock it up now. I'm nearly at the last few stages of it, and I really don't want to cock it up and ruin everything that I've done on it so far. So that's why I'm kind of taking my time. I haven't forgotten about it. It's still there. I'm still looking at it now as I'm doing this, still thinking, how am I going to do this? The grad is almost done. I must get round and finish off the last few parts that's got to go on. A little bit of paint here and there, and a little bit more weathering, and that is pretty much going to be done. Right, so he says as he's throwing it all over the table. Really? So that is going to go about there, I think. Okay. Yep. We'll have a bit of sticking fluidy stuff. I won't actually put any filler on that. I'll leave that gap because I can use that to put the epoxy putty in to make it look like it's welded in place rather than just inadvertently stuck on. So that bit needs to go on next. So out comes the obligatory box of greebly bits that, as you can see, I've still got quite a bit in here. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with everything here. But we want that bit, definitely. Oh, can have a slurp of tea as well. Excuse me a second. Oh, that's better. That's what we want. That one. We want that one. For now, that can all stay in there. Right, where's the other bit? There's the other bit. Easy. Right. That one off. And that one. So those bits can go back in there. And the snips can go back in the drawer. Screw the lid up on the glue pot, David, before you throw it all over the desk like you've done before in the past. Step forward, one muppet. So that kind of looks a little bit familiar now on this side as it was, but that's where it's going to end because I'm going, I think it's probably going to go back this way. I think we're going to have a piece of brass sheet on here. I'm going to have to make a bracket or something to go over there, because this is where, for this particular one, the radio controlled helicopter will be able to land. Can't use a droid because they wasn't around back in the 80s, so it's a radio controlled helicopter of some sort. Don't necessarily want it plumb straight because I want it to have a slight air of it's something that's been found in the workshop and it's being used as a test piece rather than anything else. So if it is slightly squiff and slightly a little bit gnarly, I don't mind. So that is going to sit on there. But ideally, I don't really want it any longer. About there. Can sit on there quite nicely. So all I really need is one small bracket underneath, I think, just to make that look a bit more realistic. And I think a weld seam down there as well. Right, so where's the old there it is. A bit the old GS Hypo. Definitely recommend getting some of this. Just be a little bit careful when squeezing. It will come out quite quick. And don't worry if you lose the cap. A little bit of wire out of the wire tie is more than enough to stop it from getting all gunged up. And a small landing pad for the helicopter. And then all I need to do now is make a small little bracket which I can use this bit of offcut for, and that can go in. they can go over there. So I think that'll be about as much as I can do on that for now. So I'm going to stop recording and give that about half an hour or so. Now, with the smallest amount of epoxy putty that you can get away with, and I mean tiny little pinch of putty for both parts A and B, mix them together and then, as you can see, roll them out using a bit of old plastic card. If you've got it, something like a rolling pin, maybe, I don't know if that would work or not. An old steel rule, maybe. Just be very careful when you're rolling it out so that it doesn't stick to whatever it is you're using to roll it out, otherwise it will just flatten very quickly, because what we're using is very thin and very easy to mess up. Now, using the tip of a scalpel blade, or you could use the tip of a cocktail stick or a toothpick, lay the putty into where you want to start creating the seam. Now, take your time, don't rush, because if you rush this, especially with the putty being so thin as it is, it will break, it will just snap very easily. Now, as you can see, in a few seconds I'm going to do the sensible thing, and I'm going to get myself a little pot of water and a little tray or a little dish, and we're going to have some water as well. Suggest that you do this because it will make life easier. Now, it can be distilled water, it can be tap water, it really doesn't matter. So long as you've got something that you can dip it into to put some moisture onto the tip of the blade, just so that it doesn't stick with the putty. Now, with small gentle movements, just start to move and manipulate the putty where you want it exactly, and to create the unevenness of the weld, just start gently tapping with the tip of the blade into the putty. Don't rush. This is actually quite therapeutic and quite relaxing, so take your time, there's no rush. The other thing that I did notice as I was doing this was the putty sometimes squidges out a little bit and starts to create a non-straight weld seam. If that happens, just use the edge of your blade, or the length of the edge of the blade, against the putty and just gently push it back in so that it straightens it up. Now, as you can see, I had a little bit of excess, so it was just very carefully cutting it off. Now we are going to do the other side, which is pretty much the same as what we did in the first bit. You just take your time, work slowly. As you can see, just work your way along nice and slow, don't rush. Oh, come on, David. Sort it out, man. That's better. Now you're getting there. Now, you use a little bit of water as well, because you'll find that the putty won't stick to the blade like it was before. So as I carry on with this, I'm now going to bring this video to a close. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get a notification every time I upload some new content. Also, don't forget to tune in every Sunday 12:30 till 2:30 for the Buddy Builders Sunday Brunch. Not forgetting the Thunder Buddies build of the Thunderbirds 2 model on Wednesdays at 4 until 6:30. Remember, stay safe, stay well, and I will catch you in the next one.